Greetings and welcome to the 8th episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters, a series dedicated to showing off 3 house mods every week as we try and find your dream Cyrodiil home. Now, it's actually been a while since the last episode, and I believe last time someone requested a ocean-themed episode. So today we're looking at 3 house mods that take place around the sea or the Niben, and as always you can find download links for each one down in the video description below. So why don't we just go ahead and get started with our popular house mod of the week, which this week is Bravil Sea Domes by Phitt. Now this is a rather interesting house that you'll first need to buy, and the price starts out at about 18,000 drakes, though there's also a number of upgrades you can purchase in the fashion of Oblivion's vanilla housing properties, and combined it'll add about another 15,000 drakes to the price tag, so this is one you might need to save up a bit for. And the exterior of this home really isn't much to look at least not above water anyway, being little more than a cave on the shoreline opposite the city of Bravil, and you can see the entrance to this new home on the map here, and it does include a map marker for convenience, as well as a really short commute back to Bravil, so long as you don't mind swimming across the Niben Bay to get there. Now this home is actually a series of underwater domes located at the bottom of the Niben Bay, and you can see the interior of this lovely home here with all the upgrades purchased. There's a beautiful main entry hall with a central pond and some waterfalls that can actually rotate if you turn them on, and the rest of the room is dedicated to display cases where you can naturally display any items you have. There's also a dining room with a crystal chandelier and small windows that look out on the sand at the bottom of the bay, as well as plenty of dining amenities to complete the room here. The overall structure of the home basically has everything connected to the main entry hall, which acts as a central dome with access to 3 smaller domes that contain various rooms. And besides the dining room, there's also a cozy study and library, which includes a number of shelves, a warm fireplace, a desk, and even a chessboard. Not to mention a working globe of tamarail that you can just sort of spin around as you so desire. Now, as you might expect with any house mod, there's naturally a bedroom included, with a large king-size bed, with some more views of the watery depths of the Niben Bay, as well as a handful of storage containers and small display spaces and the like. Of course, there's a bit more to these sea domes than might first appear. There's also something of a basement below the sandy layers of the Niben, with a curious hole going down, including a lift that you can use to get a moderately slow passage to the bottom. Down here is where you'll find the main storage facilities for the Bravil Sea Domes, including a number of chests, barrels, crates, and other containers for you to store your numerous items in, with enough storage to last a while. And it really should be pointed out that there was an expansion to the Bravil Sea Domes that was released on the Nexus separately, and you can find a download link to that as well in the description. And all in all, Bravil Sea Domes is a lovely and small unique home with an original location being at the bottom of the sea and all that, including a number of convenience features such as a map marker, storage, and a number of unique qualities like the rotating waterfalls and the foyer to the lift leading down to the basement. There's just a lot of cool character that's been built into the Bravil Sea Domes, and it's definitely worth checking out. Next up we have our new house mod, which this week is Waterlogged Tower by Yevic. Continuing with our ocean and water-based house mod theme, this mod adds a tower to the middle of the Niben River, just north of Leowin, with a small darkened rowboat that essentially acts as a doorway to take you to the Tower Island. The tower is just kind of an interesting structure with a makeshift construction that kind of looks like the towers you might see in Bravil, with lots of ivy, windows, and balconies hugging the sides to make for a rather scenic landmark in the middle of the river. Of course, there's a bit more to the tower than meets the eye, and should you go swimming around the base, you might actually encounter some ancient ruins, including an old Aeolid arch, and what appears to be some sort of hidden shrine down in the watery depths, which is, a really cool feature, I might add, This is a very atmospheric location, to say the least. And as you can see from the map here, the tower is just a short distance away from the city of Leowin, making for a pretty short commute, and there's 2 map markers associated with the tower, one for the docks and another one for the tower itself, so you can teleport back at any time. But moving on to the interior side of things, the tower is divided into 4 floors, with the base entry level containing a small kitchen-like space, dining area, and a cozy fireplace. And a rather cool thing you'll find with this mod is that you can actually turn the lights on and off in each room via these LED buttons on the walls. And there's also a small alchemy garden in the basement. with a number of different respawning plants that provide a number of ingredients and the like, and even a small model of the tower, presumably back when it was part of a larger fortress. And on the second floor you'll find a study area and a library with a number of books and a few label containers that you can use for organization and the like. And you also find a book in here that sort of explains part of the history of the tower. And apparently it was once part of a town that sunk beneath the Niben years ago, along with a shrine to the wind goddess Kinnereth. The final floor at the top is home to the bedroom, including plenty of closet and drawer space for you to store your stuff in. And it's a rather quaint and cozy room, if also a bit cramped since, this is a rather small tower and the like. And overall, this is a rather atmospheric and lovely home, if a bit on the small side, that provides a number of amenities such as map markers, an alchemy garden, workable lights, and some organized storage. There's also a nice story behind the place, and all in all, it's a rather easy recommendation for those who like semi-isolated homes with fairly short commutes and lots of character and history to them. Finally, taking a look at our underrated house mod of the week, we have Oceanside Mansion by Pierrick. And once again, our underrated house mod is probably one of the more unique housing mods we've looked at in this series. Oceanside Mansion is, as the name would imply, a rather large mansion right on the ocean with a rather distinctive architectural style that, just really stands out as pretty original among the locations in Cyrodiil. And what's especially interesting is that this house appears to use mostly vanilla Oblivion assets, but in a rather creative and original fashion to make a truly beautiful mansion on the waterfront of the Gold Coast, with towers and spires reaching into the heavens, providing a sort of gothic or basilica-like look to the entire place, which is, just very scenic. And there's not a whole lot of landscaping around the property, and, overall it seems to have a minimal impact on the landscape here, but still, this is one grand mansion and probably the largest house mod we'll be looking at today. Really, one of the only downsides that's worth mentioning here about this location is that it is a rather conflict-heavy area. This mansion is just north of Anvil along Cyrodiil's western coast, and quite a few mods add buildings, towns, castles, or even complete landscape overhauls to this region, so conflicts are, pretty highly likely. You can see the mansion here on the map, and like I said, it's not that far from Anvil, with a rather short commute overall, and a map marker for convenience, so you can always teleport back home. Inside you'll find a fairly unique interior to go along with the unique exterior, with a large first floor that has a bit of an open floor plan, with storage and display areas on one side, and a lounge and dining area on the other side with plenty of seating for guests and the like. And it's a fairly cozy interior as well. There's even a chapel of Akatosh in the back, with a number of lovely stained glass windows and even an upper level balcony accessed from the bedroom, looking down at the altar and the statue of Akatosh below. And the second floor is dedicated to the private quarters of this grand mansion, including the main display space areas with tables, desks, and bookshelves available for displaying items. Naturally, there's also a bed up here, which is sort of surrounded by empty bookshelves, and there's also some additional containers for storing items and the like. And the private quarters also come with an alchemy lab, which includes altars of enchanting and spellmaking, ideal and arguably necessary for any true mage. And for some reason there's also a table of candles up here, which unfortunately does cause a bit of a frame rate spike, but in any event it's a rather lovely suit nonetheless, with some really amazing looking ceilings, and again a clearly unique and original design. One last thing I wanted to show off here is that the towers have access to balconies that can be used to get a lovely view of the sea and the Gold Coast as a whole. There's just a few chairs up here, so you can just sit back, relax, and take in the view. Overall, this is an incredibly unique and beautiful home with a fantastic exterior that really captures the imagination with some creative architecture usage, and naturally it comes with a lot of convenience features, as we might expect, with a map marker, altars of spellmaking and enchanting, beautiful views, and a pretty short commute into Anvil. Definitely recommended for players who want something a little different and grand in the game, though the location may pose a problem with mod conflicts and the like. And that pretty much wraps up everything I have for you guys today, so we should be returning to a fairly normal schedule soon, so do expect the next episode in about a week or so. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.